A phone falls onto the tracks. Most people would look at it and feel a pit in their stomach. They'd see a cracked screen, a lost weekend, $100 headache. But for one woman in Chicago, that single glance downward became the most consequential decision of her life. What happened next lasted less than 20 seconds. It's a window of time so short, you'd usually spend it waiting for a microwave to beep. But on the Red Line, 20 seconds is an eternity. And it's also no time at all. Chicago, June 27th, 2019. The 69th Street Red Line station looked exactly how it always does. The air smelled of ozone and hot metal. People were hunched over, scrolling through the very same devices they were using to ignore the world around them. Trains moved in and out like clockwork, the usual screech of brakes, the automated voices. It was a rhythmic, predictable environment. Nothing about the atmosphere suggested that a tragedy was about to become part of the station's history. At 12:40 p.m., 37-year-old Felon Smith was waiting for the northbound train. Maybe she was checking a message. Maybe she was just shifting her grip. But in a heartbeat, her phone slipped. It bounced off the platform edge and landed in the dark gravel of the tracks below. There's something unsettling about how modern this tragedy is. This wasn't a crime. It wasn't a push. It was an instinct. We have to understand the psychology here. To us, a phone isn't just a piece of plastic and glass. It's our bridge to our children. It's our bank account. It's a decade of photos that aren't backed up. When it falls, our brain registers it as a crisis. Surveillance footage shows Felon making a choice. She didn't hesitate long. She climbed down. At first, the footage looks almost mundane. The station is calm. There is no monster in the tunnel yet. It's just a woman trying to recover her life from the dirt. But subway platforms are masters of deception. In an underground station, your senses lie to you. The tunnels act as giant echo chambers. The sound of an approaching train can bounce off the walls behind you, making it sound like it's blocks away when it's actually right around the corner. Then there's the third rail. The most dangerous part of a subway track isn't always the train. It's the 600 volts of constant electricity running through the rail right next to you. One accidental touch while trying to climb back up, and the body paralyzes instantly. Felon Smith was now in a race she didn't realize she was running. As she stood on the tracks, a northbound Red Line train began its approach. Reports later confirmed she was on those tracks for roughly 20 seconds. Try to imagine that. 5 seconds, you find the phone, you feel relief. 10 seconds, you look for a place to grip the platform to pull yourself up. It's higher than it looks from above. 15 seconds, you hear the hum. The vibration starts in your feet. The lights hit the tunnel walls. 20 seconds, the point of no return. In a movie, there's a swelling soundtrack, a slow motion reach for a hand. In reality, there is only the sudden, deafening roar of 400 tons of steel that cannot stop on a dime. A Red Line train traveling at 35 miles per hour needs hundreds of feet to come to a full halt. By the time the operator sees a person on the tracks, the physics of the machine have often already decided the outcome. Felon Smith died at the scene. When the surveillance footage was released, the public reaction was a mix of heartbreak and debate. But the story took a complicated turn during the investigation. The CTA eventually terminated the train operator. An internal review suggested that safety procedures, specifically how the train entered the station and how quickly the brakes were applied, weren't followed to the letter. It turned a tragic accident into a legal and procedural firestorm. But for the people of Chicago, the takeaway was much more visceral. We see stories like this and we want to think we'd be smarter. We'd leave the phone. We'd call for help.
Your cell phone is not that important. Your life is more important.
But the 20-second rule is a haunting reminder of how quickly the human brain prioritizes the now over the forever. One dropped object, one decision, one 20-second window.
No person is perfect. The judgment that's being passed on my sister for making a decision is terrible. The comments that's being made on Facebook are sickening.
This story stays with people because it's a ticking clock scenario we all fear. It's the realization that the barrier between a normal Tuesday and a headline is thinner than we think. The tracks are a no-mistake zone. They don't care about your photos. They don't care about your messages. They don't forgive a single second of bad timing. Next time you're standing behind that yellow line and you feel the urge to lean over, remember Felon Smith. Nothing in your hand is worth more than the life holding it. Never enter active train tracks for any reason.